FPX mounting a defense to start things out here on Haven. And Tom, we've heard from the analyst desk, but I want to hear from you. Who's your favorite coming into this map?
I think I'm going to lean in towards Liquid. I'm still not convinced by the Astra still being in play. Like, I think it can definitely work on the defensive side, like being able to sort of time a lot of your utility similar to what you see with the Cypher. But I still think on the attacking side, it just looks so tough. And if you've got someone like Nat struggling to make it work, I don't know if BaddyG is going to be able to piece everything together while coming into this team as sort of like a stand-in. I think that's going to be incredibly difficult. On the other side of things, I was really impressed with Navira on this map the last time he played. I think he was 8-0 in opening duels and was just an absolute menace. And Yumpy had a bad performance and they still won. Do I think that will happen twice? Probably not.
You got to remember, though, BaddyG has been the super sub for FPX so far.
He's been sick, yeah.
He's been unbelievable. And, you know, whether it's the Sage, your Viper, or indeed your Astra, you know that this guy can deliver. But I agree with you. It's a tough task here. Stepping into Haven. That said, he is wasting no time in getting this started. The opening duel already his Nano Swarm right away, given the protection to Sugetsu. He's not going to be pushed down on. And Team Liquid, they're trying to fight on multiple fronts, but they're not really meeting any results. A lot of damage done, but no kills yet.
Yeah, and the thing is, right now, FPX have pretty much every single piece of information they could ever need. They've spotted Soulcast. They've seen basically every other player with the drone into mid. So it's a tough spot right now for them to try and fall back into. At the same time, I'm looking at the health. Artist, Zipan, Xiao, all incredibly low. So it could be fairly difficult for them in this current scenario.
Yeah, definitely a tough round ahead with no heals at all. You know, it would be great to have that that Sky in there popping back up to full, but you've got to avoid pretty much every fight at this point if you're any of the players on this side of the map. That leads to a retake. I would have thought, but instead they played two players under Heaven.
Spike planted.
Backside. And Batty ran in after they were long dead with his 70 HP. So now Artist is one hit, and Sugetsu's got to do it all. As you can see, that is not looking great.
Yeah, definitely not the prettiest of scenarios, and well, left all onto Artist, and I said he sort of needs a miracle here to get absolutely anything done. And I guess the main thing would be is if he can get a kill. Scream. Oh, he's now coming up on the flag. He's not going to go for the knife either. He will get his nice little tree.
There you go. Oh, maybe he'll get some golden seeds at the bottom. Who knows? It's 1-0 for Team Liquid, and you know, it's certainly a valuable start to kick off. A little bit of wind in their sails right off the bat. I gotta ask, you know, what was going on here for FPX? It seemed clear. Yeah. With everybody being so low, you got to play a retake. Okay, they try to catch the players off guard. It is what it is. It doesn't work out. Batty running in, though. I mean, it's not like he's trying to trade anyone. They're all dead at that point. These guys have complete control. He's one of the few players who's got full HP or close to left. That seemed like a panic round out of FPX. And again, something that we've seen crop up a couple of times is that they sort of lose their team play, I want to even say, at a certain point in some rounds. You see the sloppiness start to seep through, and I think, you know, obviously a team playing with a stand-in and all this, there's going to be those issues there, so it's understandable.
Yeah, I think that there's definite elements of like them taking risks. I think we saw that in the previous map as well, of like players running through smokes, especially on the attacking side, almost disrespecting that utility. It was something I mentioned, but at least when it was on their attacking side of the last map, it was done as a team. Like we were sort of looking at that and going, okay, they're going through this together. They have a stun, they have something, a flash, something to almost set them up. Whereas you're right, when Batty does it, it was like, let's hope no one's looking. Like it's just way too audacious. And I kind of get it. Like when a round like that starts to fall apart, if you could be the one to bring it back, fantastic. And as we sort of mentioned, I didn't think it's going to be a recurring theme that's going to happen, but it is unfortunate because I said, like, again, for Liquid on this attacking side, there's opportunities. I think especially having someone like Yumpy actually on that jet gives them much more of a chance, but it's still that defense where I expect them to thrive. Like so much delaying power, information as well from Scream, who is already looking like he's going to be slightly more aggressive, but then also that double op potential, which I think of any roster in the entire world, they have the most players who could just pull in an op, and at least to that high caliber of like a tier 1 operator player. So they get the finances off to a good start. Okay, maybe not on the attack, but on that defense, and you can easily be out of this game.
Well, this is the thing, right? The snowball can be difficult to deal with, and when a team like Liquid gets wind in their sails, man, they can be dangerous on a map like this with so much space and so many holes typically to exploit and to poke into. Somewhere that Team Liquid are going to succeed a lot in playing a more skirmishy style. Now, we've already seen a bunch of the FPX players be able to take it to them in toe-to-toe battles. Well, that's a nice little way to kick this one off. Of course, no one's got shields to play with, so you're one-hitting these guys to the body with that weapon. It's an operator. A little bit quicker to move, a little bit quicker to fire. Can be dealt with, but you know, you want one or two more kills here really for FPX, and the chances of that are significantly lower than I think FPX would want.
I feel like watching the pros use the Marshall just makes me feel so ridiculously silly for ever scoping in, because it is just one of those things where you could just rattle off shots and you could probably remove the scope from that gun and they really wouldn't care. It would still be something that gets brought into the rounds. It's just ridiculous how accurate it actually is from the hip fire. Nonetheless, it is just going to be one player loss, not really too much detriment to Liquid, and they're still going to have themselves a rifle and some SMGs to play with in this round. The only unfortunate truth, though, is that normally you almost want 1 or 2 players to be getting the majority of the kills and getting those ultimate orbs, so that then you actually have one of your ultimates for a round like this, whereas they've had a couple. So you got Scream, Link, and Navira not too far away, but probably not going to have a chance to use it in this round.
I guess the good thing on the other side is there's not a single player on FPX who stepped it up. They found 2 kills in the first 2 rounds, right? So you're not going to be worried about a Blade Storm, or like we've seen in other games, like your Showstopper or something stupid coming in that can completely turn the tide of a game. For now, FPX are left with their utility on their belt, their weapons in their hands, and that's about all they've got to work with. We'll see, though, for Team Liquid, they haven't really taken much of a stance on this. Extremities are watched by Chamber Utility. And other than that, they just want to fight mid. They want to play these skirmishes, want to take these duels. But you can see FPX, they don't. They are giving all that control to Liquid willingly. They're even going to let a plant go down on B. They don't give a damn.
Already, they managed to at least dodge the small amount of utility that's there, and some spam will come through and do some decent damage already. Now, this is where things start to get a little bit scary. The aggression of Yumpy not really going to gain anything, but they still have this control, at least for now. However, FPX have done a decent job of, well, making all of those fights very costly. Link, though, a decent kill.
That's huge. It gets them a rifle and control of a part of the map. They're not stuck on B side anymore. They're able to go out, move through garage, come back to mid. They're losing all the duels on the way. Now, this could be good. They can play the sprays through, but they're going to get pushed on, and they know it. The spray away from Scream, the timing is terrible, and that means he hasn't got the ability to pull them off the defuse. Look at how low everybody is. If he doesn't get caught with that flash out, maybe there's a chance, but instead, FPX, they walk out of that one in a beautiful position.
I legitimately think Artist might have started defusing that at 20 HP, which is just madness, because it's like, you know, literally a bullet or 2 away from just being dropped and them having to start that one again. The fact is, though, the rest of the players are grassing, managing to deny that, and more worryingly, I guess, for Liquid, surviving with that many players, because that was a round, realistically, with the amount of damage they'd done, that could have easily been like 3-4 players or even a round win. Instead, you kind of look at it from the other side of things, and FPX are sat there going, okay, we got 4 players out of it. It doesn't really matter that the round might have looked a little bit closer than it was. And now we're going to start seeing these purchases coming back into play. And from what I think I saw, there might already be an operator coming in on that attacking side.
There's definitely the potential. Now, remember, that weapon can be sold, so you never know. But
yeah, true.
On this map especially, it makes sense. Like, there's just so many range spots to fight on. And we saw in this round that they really didn't want to go and fight for the extremities that much. Team Liquid play with their utility covering out the pushes on C and A long respectively, so they've got that covered. And from that point on, you're pretty comfortable to just duel out and skirmish on B. Now, if you add an operator into the mix in this round, That can give you a lot more control. Still fight for mid with the same guys, but you have to look at it and say, FPX didn't fight mid. They didn't peek mid. They played super passive. There was no attempt to retake that control in the early stages. So I think here an AWP benefits you even more because it allows you to go and try to skirmish on your own rather than sit around like they did and wait for something that, with the exception of Artis, no one's likely to do. And if it is Artis swinging around a corner giving you a bit of aggression, you want to be worried anyways.
Now, it is worth mentioning the only loss that I think we've actually seen for FPX on this map was the most recent one versus London United, and was also one where I think it was the first time they actually struggled on the attack. I do also think that might be the first match they actually played without having Angel there, which it almost makes a lot of sense that their attack mysteriously became a lot worse when you don't actually have your in-game leader there anymore. So it's definitely something that could be a worry for them. I think that in terms of the actual pieces they've got, I think for the attacking side, it makes a lot of sense. I think Artis in general is incredibly good at this map. Like, I think that it just makes... most Jet players are. Like, it's like watching players like Wardell or El Diablo. Like, the way that they played Haven was just truly terrifying. So if he can put himself in that bracket, that might be one of the game changers for them here. And wow, it looks like we are going to be getting back into things, and that operator for Navira, that's definitely a piece to watch, and just him in general, because I said 8-0 in opening duels the last time that Liquid played this map.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. Just for you guys at home, that was Sugetsu. A little bit of a tech issue on his part. He's reconnected up, and as you can see, they're ready to go. Operator going to be charging out on long, but smoked off right away.
The opening duel anymore.
And it's Yumpy that's going to be picking that up. Zipan has been deleted on that A long pick, and immediately Team Liquid reset into a default. They're not going to look to push this too aggressively. Instead, they want to focus on some control elsewhere. Good shots by Artis, but no kill to follow up on.
Wow, okay, they're being torn a new one. And just a multitude of frags coming in incredibly quickly. Like, we're looking at... Okay, I was going to say a plant down and round over with still over a minute left, but they've denied that at least for a couple of extra seconds. And while Xiao, there's no chance. That is a surprising return to form for Team Liquid. And they didn't even break a sweat in that round.
Yeah, they made that look very easy indeed. And, you know, sure, you can give the operator on that B pick a little bit of a boost, but the rest of the guys, the rest of the fights that went down, like Artis being able to hit, down to 30 HP, got Yumpy, peeks to the other side, and Link comes in, just one-taps him. Up shot lands at the same time, and all of a sudden FPX, they just get rolled on. You know, this was the kind of skirmishy style I'm looking for out of Team Liquid that I know that they'll succeed with a lot of the time. Now you're sitting 3-1, and FPX have got nothing to work with. They're down on pistols yet again. This attack side's off to one hell of a strong start. Now, that is if they get this round.
What a fool MitchMan is! He said nothing to work with, not realizing that Artis has a Blade Storm and has now got 2 kills. If you're a Liquid fan, that is at MitchMan on Twitter. At MitchMan on Twitter.
This guy comes in, honestly, they've got pistols to play with, the Blade Storm, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a clean round for Liquid, 4-1. I see the Blade Storm, like, all right, so there's, you know, better give the caveat. If, and he goes out, drops 2 heads, quick as can be. The word save is probably floating around on Team Liquid if they don't get into a site quickly, but they do. They've got the A site. The retake attempt from FPX, though, with these pistols, it's pretty idyllic.
They've managed to find a couple of weapons. They've still got a Blade Storm. Like, considering what was invested in this round, they've got to go for it. And while Orbital Strike coming out straight away, it leaves Artis somewhat isolated, and he is going to get taken down. The rest of the team now looking to make their move, already trading out effectively, leaving just Soulcast remaining, but he's managing to isolate these fights. Not quite quick enough. The time, though, is ticking quite far gone. They might have actually baited this clock down just enough. It's going to be incredibly close, but they've got it in the end.
A little over a second left for FPX as they clock up around with pistols and a Blade Storm. Nothing to work with.
What was it you said at the beginning? Sorry,
Nothing
there was something you said about like not really having a chance in this round. I just wanted to caveat back to that.
Yeah.
And again, say to any Liquid fans, it's at MitchMan on Twitter.
It's a good thing about having Tom. You know, he's always got your back. That's the best part. You know, he's the kind of guy, he'd never kick you when you're down.
No, never.
Just always picking people up. That's what I love. Now, that was an unbelievable round out of Artis, and the danger man that we talk about in pretty much every series. You know, seeing this guy back reaching top form is exactly what I missed about the old G2. It's the only thing I missed about the old G2. Well, that's going to be Yumpy gone right away. Fatty G can see through smokes. You heard it here first.
Enemy tag.
Oh. Okay, well, they know that there's someone all the way back. I don't know how much value that information is going to have, at least for now, but after already managing to find the opener, Novera just waiting patiently. Of course, he can get out of there as quickly as he likes, but I don't really see any reason, especially after you've heard the activation of the Tour de Force, for anyone to peek this. You know that there's still a likelihood of someone being there, and I think Batty is actually just jump spotting it from the corner.
Here we go, the blitz to come on through. I mean, he's got to be close to going out of ammo at this point. Batty's been spraying all game long. Look at Sulcus and Link, man. They're 1 HP on the way back, trying desperately to get their health back up. Get on out of there. Scream's run out of heals at this point. That's how much damage Batty's been doing. I think he's upped his
30 seconds
ACS
left.
by about 200 in this one.
Oh, they've managed to at least bypass Artis, but he's waiting for the remainder of the players, and the turret of Saigetsu still gives them the information that the crossers come in, and he's just going to be waiting. This 1-2 punch leaving Scream alone, and he doesn't have the time to do anything here. Artis there to close out the round, and FPX, they strike back, and they strike back hard, like winning what was ultimately an eco round, then getting a flawless off the back of it. Their economy is flying, and I think this is where you have to give credit to Batty, because this is where the value is definitely still there on Astra, is that as that site log, as that player who is basically just left to hold down C, he has the right utility. It's all about timing. Now, it's similar, as said, to a Cypher. If you pop your cages early in the round, your value is diminished, and you basically have nothing to play with. So he has to work out the exact moment of where and when to place his utility. This round, he absolutely nailed it.
This call from Team Liquid to pull out a timeout, I don't disagree with the timing whatsoever. You look at how the last couple rounds have gone, especially with Artis having just so much momentum now. That C-long play with the ultimate, then the operator this round. It's starting to get scary at this point. If he's able to just feel free to run around the map like that and win duels, no matter where he is, well, that's going to be something that Team Liquid look to shut down right here and now. Don't let that run too far. At 3-3, I come into this one. I don't think they've got a comfortable buy, right?
You're so scared to say anything.
They should be. No, I don't want to say. I don't want to say this round is FPX's. I don't want to say that because, you know, the buy is, it's not great for Team Liquid.
Because then both teams would hate you.
Yeah, exactly. I've already picked my camp at this point, haven't I? I saw a judge in Sulcus's hands and it's still there now. That makes me sad, angry, and about every other negative emotion. Let's see if he'll... Well, that's a great shrouded step there. We'll see if he's able to get any value with the judge as times go on. The attack side buy it's pretty rarely seen. So I'll keep my eye.
That's the thing. So Yumpy gets a single kill. He can drop the gun, has a Blade Storm, and this basically turns into a fine buy to play with. So it's definitely got its risks about it, no doubt. But you also have to remember Novera played his ult in the last round. So his rifle is purchased up for the exact reason that basically... Well, he's still going to have money for the next round. And even then, Yumpy going down, okay, he lost the rifle, Blade Storm for the next. So there's no economic risk, really, for the squad in this scenario. The problem is that it didn't really do any damage, and now they have to try and work with what they've got.
That's exactly the point for Team Liquid, right? They come in there, they try to play after the pause, they level things out, but they need the value. Here's the judge coming through for one. Oh, God, I hate it so much. This attack side judge by FPX got to be scratching their heads about why the hell they've just come up against that. But 4-3, they end up winning out the round, and it's not too much of a headache either. Look at the economy for this defensive side. It is stacked. Yeah, well, exactly. Ult economy and credit economy, both of which being very much led by FPX. Excuse me.
Yeah, and again, this is not too much of an issue. You're going to see Yumpy use the Blade Storm, operator in play still for Novera, but last few rounds have been a little bit of a worry. Now, Artist still trying to aggress. They've been fighting for this A long control, as you do. Like, it's something so common on this map. It's why a lot of teams have always been running a Sova just to almost set themselves up. It's something that is missing here for the opposition side, but you have to remember that likelihood is you're just going to have Novera acting as like a Sova in terms of just running at them and then being able to teleport away.
Okay, Artist has had to give up his position. I thought for a second he might get away with that. And a few players spotted. They're just going to reset. FPX content to play the freeze. Their utility in play from middle is really strong, actually, because they've got garage mid control, but they're not rotating over and committing towards this A play. It's interesting how slowly FPX are giving up these positions. I would have thought that some form of a rotate would have come in, even just Zipan going to A after they lose the control and the pressures there, but no, they take a chill.
I like this setup. In towards the garage, the bait and switch. You've got them playing off of each other. And okay, they're pushing back towards A, but they're still going to be met with Artists and the remainder of this squad. The rotation starting to come through from Zipan, and he's kept his dash online this entire time. The first kill is just free, and they can't actually trade it out. And they've left Xiao in the corner, and it's just gone horribly wrong for Team Liquid and Navira. Well, this turns into just an operator save, trying his best to bring something into this round, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pressured him here. Shot darts, almost trying to bait the shot. It's not looking pretty. I think he's going to get closed down here. He will.
Too many players absolutely everywhere. The second he took that peek out wide, he was gone, but very little choice in that scenario. Such a good round out of the Artist, just baiting it out. Why would you check it afterwards? You know, like, it's so smart and it's so basic at the same time. It's such a simple little play, but those kind of things, they're what win you rounds. They're what win you games, because it's 5-3. Team Liquid,
Who will I spot first?
they got a lot to work with, Tom, have they?
No, I'm surprised that that's what you've said and not mentioned the Odin. your weapon of choice is in play. Oh, it's dirty from Artist. You can see why he loves playing this map. Just consistently rotating back around to take these initial opening jaws, and he's been dominating in a lot of them. Zipan there to support him, but Artist is just back on track, swinging into these fights, and Yumpy's actually survived in the corner. I say survived. It really didn't last long.
No. Don't you do this.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
He went left. He went left.
Is that better, though? Is that better? Having someone bait you in and they're getting headshot by an Odin?
Yeah, it's better. It's better, Tom. It's so much better. My God. If he had dashed in and shorted him there, I think we would have had to intervene to do something. 6-3.
I genuinely believe if he did that, Scream would have aced the next round. Like, it would have just, like, brought out in a rage you never would have seen before.
Scream just ties his hair back.
And then he'd be like, right, you're dead now.
I like that they've updated the pics as well. You see, Scream's hair has just gotten even more glorious. I didn't think it could, but it did.
Not jealous at all.
It's your favorite aspect about it, right? You're going to sit there like, I don't know, Link's pretty good, actually. I like his barber.
Yeah, I love Link's hairstyle. You know,
moisturizer does he use?
How does he get that shot?
FPX chose this map, and they're looking very solid on this defensive side so far. You know, Team Liquid were 3-1 up. They were in a commanding lead. They came up against just a Blade Storm, ultimate.
They're not even using ults. Like, they have all 5. They could use them for a retake if they need it. That is a big entry, though, because they have struggled to get past Batty. It's like Yinsu? He's a madman.
Yeah, he misread that timing. Oh, what a great ultimate. Catching them completely. That spray is huge. Xiao goes down immediately, and Artist is left to do it all flawlessly. Team Liquid bounced right back into this one. They were 3-1 in the lead, and it looked like they would easily get a 4th. Well, it's slightly delayed, but they've gotten there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like if you, like, especially if it's not someone like Artist, if you got like Batty going for these challenges, you're going to have players waiting on the other side. And that was one of those occasions where I feel like maybe he's slightly overfaced. They get that entry, and then everything just falls apart. And I feel like that's how a lot of this composition almost works for Liquid is if you're giving them that opener, then you start to see the shuffle. You start to see like piece of utility not quite there to actually hold them back. It's more these just patient plays, obviously excluding Artists, who's basically just dominated on that A site. So yeah, maybe a bit of a slip up, but also just giving Navira exactly what he wants. Like if you're giving him those opening kills, as said, he was superb the last time around versus G2. One of the main reasons they won the map. You give him those opportunities, he's going to take them. And as said, the danger still seems to be that defensive side for Liquid. Like that's what they've looked incredibly strong on. I think, again, if that double operator is able to come out, this map becomes a lot smaller than you might think.
Now, one quick thing to mention. Sagetsu. A man has got 1 kill. Now, I think a very important part of this is where he's playing. Because I sort of glanced down at the scoreboard and thought, okay, some of the situations, like the last round running in, it was a little bit strange. But he's just been playing in garage. This guy is literally starved for action. He's gotten pushed once, and that was when he tried to make a play. Other than that, he's just had to sit there all round. Hey guys, my turret's watching it. Yeah, alarm bot's got mid. Yep, mid's clear. Yep, turret's got it. Yep, that's all he's been able to do, and just listen to his teammates have fun playing the game. This is it's been I mean, I would love in games like this to publish a player's perspective, a player POV of the whole game just from Sagetsu, just to see the patience these guys have. It's unreal. It's just the file would be like 4 megabytes large because most of it would just be a screenshot of exactly what he sees right now.
Yeah.
Just him staring at a wall waiting for something to happen. I think he's going to get contact again this round, and he's dodged the flash to start with, but that was just confirming that he's in here.
And the thing is, this is still almost just a bait and switch. Like, you've got Baddie there, but they are starting to wrap back around towards this A site. Now, I will say, every time they've gone in this direction, they've been absolutely ruined by this man here. And no surprise, it's the same again.
Well, at least to start things out. Oh, no utility to push on in now. That's going to be tough. KO. Oh, KO ulti coming up big. You don't have smokes. You don't have flashes. And you got to run right on into that operator. A third for Artis. But he goes down. The trade quickly found. Hunter's Fury seeking to push these players out of position. It almost gets awkward. Zipan's there to save the day. 7 rounds now for FPX. And this is a map that you can often look at as being a little bit more of a level playing field. Considering Team Liquid win the pistol and go up 3-1, I am very worried for them. If they close this out at 5, that said, in the grand scheme of things, it won't be the end of the world. But just the way it started, man, this was looking like it was going to be a great first half. And that's something Team Liquid need, considering where they're at.
1 enemy remaining.
Yeah, of course. Like, we know as well that with Mech being one of the teams in that lower bracket, you really don't want to be going anywhere near it. Especially what happened last time Team Liquid played them. They got bodied. And for FPX, well, there's everything on the line here. Like, we could be seeing Artists on LAN for the first time in Valorant. Like, that would be an exceptional opportunity. The same for the rest of the players. FPX have been so close so many times, and they've never quite made it. There's a chance for it here. Liquid, on the other hand, well, they're a regular. Made it to 2 of the 3. Xiao, secondary AWP comes up big, already finding them an opener. And, well, if it wasn't worrying enough facing into that A site and meeting an operator, they've now faced into C and had the same fate.
Sagetsu going to jump. He loves this smoke, man. He loves jumping through this smoke, but he's got to reveal.
Yeah.
Scream going to be tagged up and not dealt with. They weren't quite expecting him to be seen by that flash out as he swings. This could be a little dangerous. The operator from afar, Navera's too quick. Team Liquid are on the site, but they haven't yet spotted Baddie G, who has the perfect timing on the swing around, but Link checks it as well. Sagetsu now has to use the ultimate. This lockdown, not going to stop the plant, and it's just going to make them go towards long. That will be a post plant that they're happy with, Tom, especially having Navera on this operator, on the tour de force. Artis is going to have to try and deal with him.
Yeah, they've got a little one-way as well to try and spot them. Artis holding a pretty dirty angle, but they don't even really need to face off against it. It's another Shot actually missed, and now they can actually start getting on this defusal. Link is going to go for the peak, and it's just not covered off. They didn't expect another player to be on the other side. It's already gone to half, but look at this wraparound. It won't even be needed. Link is there to close it out. 7-5 as Liquid recover after what is definitely, I guess, a weaker half than they would have liked. Still, though, there's a couple of caveats. I think, firstly, as said, the defensive side last time was a lot better. The other thing as well is, do you think Artist will have that same impact going into the attack? Because it definitely is going to be a lot tougher with him being that tip of the spear.
Yeah, you have to look at a lot of the engagements he's taking being on A long. That position, you're holding it with an operator, they're walking into you, you're taking those fights. A lot of the time, Artist was able to take opening duel, then play the second with his dash as well. Whether it's from up on top of the boxes, playing into short, and then he would dash back and play on the side on top of the boxes or behind default. This guy had like 2 to 3 posts every round if he got pushed. Now you don't have 2 to 3. You've got 0. You've got to push them. That's going to make a big difference in theory, on paper. At least to start things out, this pistol round hasn't gone great, with Navera losing control over long, missing some of those opportunities on the range duels more importantly, and he's left down to 28 HP now.
Yeah, they haven't bought up the heal. It's not overly surprising. You're going to invest that to Lothar and use. Nice shot from Yumpy. He's had a quiet first half, but I'm not really surprised by that. I think it was the defense last time where he in particular was able to step up. Again, there's going to be this one-way thrown in by Soulcast just to make things more awkward if anybody wants to go in that direction. However, it looks like they're going to try and wrap around towards long, but they'll be met by Scream.
Big recon up top, not catching Scream, so he's at least able to grab the surprise kill on one. Yumpy's still here, and they were not expecting that. The reveal, only going to bait them in for more headshots. He keeps on going with the Sheriff in hand until it's just Shao.
Go on.
He might have even been spotted in the corner. It certainly looks like it. Clean as can be. 4 kills. And that leaves him just 3 away from Blade Storm. Coming out of the pistol, pretty good spot to be in.
Yeah, he just got more kills then than he did in the entirety of the first half. So if you're worried about Yumpy having a quiet second half, I don't think that's really on the cards for Liquid and not something they can really hope on. I will say some of the supportive utility coming through there from Soulcast is going to be fairly underrated. Like having the one way to almost back him up, but also that paranoia. As I think it was Saigetsu went to run into the site to plant. He was so blind that even though it only took 1 bullet from Yumpy, he probably could have had 4.
This one's going to be taken much slower by FPX as they attempt to find some of these duels and catch some players off guard, making their way in through the garage for a moment, but okay, yeah, they're going to commit to it. Kind of flood out. Yumpy's good for the first. 2 away from Blade Storm. 1 away, and it's almost there. They can even die now. It'd be great. Let's just send Yumpy forward. Oh, 1 HP.
1 HP. Oh, no. Are they just going to send him in? No. It seems like they want to share the wealth a little bit. Get a couple of those ults closer to online. Now, of course, again, it's one of those rounds where it's a perfect opportunity for Liquid to really just farm up cash, farm up the ultimates. I wouldn't even mind if Yumpy actually went for some sort of weapon here just to try and get himself something. Or I imagine just going for an early challenge onto an orb, especially considering that, say, for example, he goes for a Blade Storm, uses it in this round. In the next, he'll have an operator anyway, so it's not like it matters too much. And actually, there's no one on his side of the map. It looks like he's gonna get it for free.
Yes, he is. There you go. Popped
That's
out and grabbed it. Isn't actually got it yet. There we go. Okay, Blade Storm's going to be picked up, but it's a big play from FPX in towards the C site. They've got control. They'll get the plant. Team Liquid, despite grabbing the Blade Storm and whatnot, they're still got a tough enough round retaking in here now because FPX can set up on range and they can play this how they like. The good thing is Liquid still have pretty much all their utility to play with as they look to go back in.
Yumpy being relied on to try and find something here. I'm surprised at actually some of the angles that are being taken. You'd think that maybe the range battle would work out better. Instead, they're sat up close where these SMGs can do damage. Even still, though, Scream's going to be left alone. And, okay, a few players lost, but it's not really the end of the world for FPX. Now, I feel like they almost did the opposite of what a lot of teams would expect. Because I think if you look at a player about to get a Blade Storm, you go, okay, let's deny that Blade Storm. They looked at it as, well, he ain't going to be C. And just basically just ran straight into the site, which, okay, it's the opposite, as said, of what a lot of people would do, but I actually respect it. Big call.
Yeah, the call made, followed through on. We got FPX. I'm going to look at Artis. I'm going to think this guy, he's going to pull out an operator attack side, and I'm going to be impressed. I already know that. He might.
There's two on the other side.
Yeah, there's plenty of opportunity there. Yumpy and Navera taking ops. It's viable.
He's going again. The same rounds. He's just dived straight into the C site. Just looking to try and brawl with them. Already manages to get one, and Artis is just going ham. This is disrespectful from FPX. They've gone in with a double operator, and you've gone, what double operator?
That was some of the highest intensity Valorant we've seen out of these guys all day. It's like they knew they had double ops. Yeah, they just run it down.
I guess you can look at the credits and just go, well, he's not just saving that up for fun. But even still, and more so, they did the exact same thing 2 rounds in a row. He ran straight into garage, just went, well, okay, there's no one going to be here, and just dashed into the site and managed to, I don't know if he survived last round, but he definitely did this round, which that's somewhat absurd. Artis, again, like we talk about him being a difference maker, someone who at the beginning of the game was incredible and then sort of disappeared for a while. Well, at the moment, he's just come back and he's obliterating Liquid.
I do wonder how much of that came from looking at this comp from some words, whether it's in the halftime or in the pauses, coming through over on the side of FPX. Maybe Doombros had a few ideas, because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, well, FPX, the play that they just ran, Liquid essentially cannot run that against FPX, because even when you saw them attempt to take garage control, immediately they would run into Banana Swarm. They could not take that pace. You would have an alarm bot or a turret there as well, 1 to 2 players, and that part of the map was constantly fought for. Team Liquid don't have that stopping power. If they're going to do that, they have to do it with duels on that part of the map, at least in the previous round, and they couldn't. They just couldn't deal with the sheer ferocity that came out from FPX. That's a fantastic round, and now they come in against, look, there's like an orbital strike and stuff, but they've only got a few pistols. Nothing to work with.
Yeah, they've also got probably the perfect ultimate for just an anti-eco round, which is the null command, where it's like one of the main things you're going to worry about is getting caught by a cheeky piece of utility and being swarmed by the remainder of the player. Well, a lot of that's not really going to be possible. The only other thing that will be there is if they can find some of these individual jewels. Now, Navera is going to be trying to find some sort of opener, but doesn't really see anything, and actually will just continue to push. So this part of the map's locked down, and no surprise, after someone goes straight into garage 2 rounds in a row, there's gonna be someone waiting.
Yeah, you want to see that kind of adaptation. This is a little bit awkward here. Big flash going in. Scream still alive on the backside. Well, he definitely overstayed his welcome on that one. I hate this so much, and he's almost gotten him. Zipban left to 1 HP. I hate that worked as well as it did. Shock darts, though. Name of the game for Shao. Look at what he's up against. A lot of these guys are low. Big Shocky coming through, and it's already taken down Soul, because the defuse not even being attempted just yet. They're going to tap it here. That's going to force out a little bit of a spray.
I've used the grab well. They know that they can't do it anymore. So they pulled him out of position. Now they start to panic a little bit. Link is going to find another kill. They're making this costly, but again, you can see that there's no one on it. No chance of actually winning the round, but they have done a lot of damage here. And well, Navera is actually going to close it out. And he almost escaped. He almost got away with it.
Yeah, very nice round all in all. I think that when you look at the setup that they ended up against, it's just way too strong to come out with the round win. You know, I'm not even used to looking for the grab wells in this meta. Almost desensitized myself to it.
Where's his molly? Oh.
I was just like, no one's peeking this. No one's fighting this. You know, like they could be defusing. They seem very confident. But yeah, that may have made sense. They put the grab wall down. 3 rounds in the lead, 3 to go for FPX. They'll be booking themselves a slot in their first ever as a team, and for a lot of these players, LAN event. This is unreal. Artis been in the game since day 1. It's unclear whether we'd see Angel playing on that lineup or not, but for someone like him as well, you know, he's put in the time, that's for sure. A lot A fight's going the way of Team Liquid here. This operator on Nevera gets 3 before it's dealt with, and I started to believe in Xiao for a second, but okay. It's
you should
go
never
to Team
not
Liquid
believe
in
in
the
Xiao. That should be a law written within the game that Xiao can win any round at any moment when he decides he wants to. But yeah, Nevera going huge. And this is the thing, when it comes to this defensive side, he's unbelievable on this agent. The opportunity to reposition, like you have to remember his history not only within this game, but in Counter-Strike, he is a tier 1 level author. So don't get me wrong. If you give this man to any opportunities, he's going to do exactly what Artist was doing in the first half. The thing is, this is something, again, that I feel like FPX could look to avoid. Instead, Artist is like, you know what? I'm going to fight him, and he's going to win.
That he is. You know, sheer confidence is a dangerous thing to face off against, man. Artist has it in bucket loads. This man's going to start to move out towards A long. He hasn't got his dash online, hasn't got a teammate behind him. This is a man, he's just unhinged. Look at him. He's running forward, looking for fights, and it works. He's got the skill to back it up. Let's see if Team Liquid can punish it now, though. Attacker Killjoy lockdown coming into play. Liquid are sticking around. There's 2 guys here. Do they want to fight for it? Well, they don't.
Oh, they've got to get out of there. The Seekers are going to give them the information, and maybe it can actually give some space for Yumpy. We've seen flanks before not go the best, but he will at least put a little bit of doubt in their mind. Now, an after plant's still looking likely, but they have to try and deal with this. The operator's going to be watching in that direction, but there's still a possibility that Yumpy will be able to get past. And as said, they can't really switch their gaze in the other direction until he dies, and, well, a bit of a whiff.
Big miss, but still a Blade Storm to work with here for Artist. Double Nano Swarms to block them as they walk through. Decent damage done. They're separating the players. Oh, Scream! He's gotten away with it eventually. A pistol in the hands of Sugetsu, only good for the one, but Artist is still here, and they're answering up big on the FPX side with the Blade Storm to close out the round. That's 11 in the hands of FPX. Really on the home stretch now. Iceland within their grasp as they look to lock in the first ever land for this organization.
I feel like as well, like up until today, we were talking a lot about how the right clicks look like they suck. And then I'm watching Artists do it just again and again, like it's absolutely nothing. Like it just doesn't, it's just like, oh, right click dead. Okay, I'm going to go back to my gun now. I don't understand. It just seems absolutely fine for him. Now, this really is a crunch round. You got the double operator in once again. One in the form of the Tour de Force, and they expected Artist to be here, but it doesn't matter. He's got backup. Even going to go for a little bit of a love tap onto the body as he goes dashing back into the site. They have done the exact same strat every time they think there's a double operator in play, and guess what? They've got C again.
And Link tries to do anything, breathe in towards the spawn. He's taken down. Sugetsu's on fire, and only Nevera stands to keep Team Liquid in it, at least in regulation. You can see that he ain't gonna last all too much longer. 4 chances now for FPX to book themselves a slot at Masters. Things are looking better than ever for this roster, and you've really just got to look at Artist. 21-12. He's the guy leading the charge in a lot of these rounds, Tom. He's dashing in, taking space, and he should be dying, but he just isn't.
That's the thing. I've got mad respect for the fact that there's been 3 times where they've expected a double op, and 3 times they've rushed into garage and taken C. Like, this is disrespect, because they've gone, okay, Liquid know what we're going to do at this point, and we're still just going to continue to do it. Now, we've seen this same double up in utility. The whole point is to try and set up Nevera. Now, normally, he has an operator, or at least a rifle. This time, Mitch, he has a judge.
Okay. That's a shot to kick off the round. Xiao down and out. You've got no drone, no recon. Gonna help a lot on the way through. I didn't spot if he has the Hunter's Fury, but well, he certainly doesn't now. It's the opening pick that Liquid wanted. What do they do from here? Well, they flank.
You lose.
Well, Link's on his way behind. He's got them contained. These players have to win every single duel. What a shot. Scream with a Sheriff. And he's got 3 kills. Okay. That's the round you needed. Team Liquid, they're not down and out just yet.
It would just had to be, didn't it? Like, you get right to the end, you look at FPX and go, this is their time to shine. They destroyed the economy. Scream's also had a pretty quiet game for Scream standards. 3 headshots straight away with a pistol, especially after we've seen him use the Sheriff quite a few times and miss like 12 shots. And then he's just like, okay, this time I just need 3. Like, a great round for him. And more importantly, again, something we always have to talk about with Liquid, that's the sort of moment that can bring them back for the depths. They have so many players that can do this. Like, every single player on the roster can pull a round out like that, but it's then just how they react off of it. Now, again, it's not the prettiest in terms of their economy. They're still not going to be in the greatest spots. They don't have the operators they want, but at this point, I almost feel like the value of them is diminished. Like, okay, Navira, I'm happy for him to continue playing it, but the second it's expected by FPX, that same play comes in and they get decimated. The other problem as well, Mitch, look at the ults currently available right now. Like, a set piece here from FPX, give Doom Bros the mantle, let him basically tell you what you're gonna do, and I feel like whatever it is, Liquid are gonna struggle.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at the ultimate in play for Team Liquid of Navera. When he uses his ulti, it's taken out of the round completely by that fast push that came down. Like, you're literally counting out that character's ultimate from this entire half so far, more or less. And FPX have been in a position where they can now blitz into sight, they can play post plant, they can smoke off sides, they can do whatever they want with ultimates. They've got all the money to work with. Their economy isn't really under threat, not in this round now, at least.
Just double you can.
And now they're starting to up the pace, show the confidence yet again, and this is something that it gets me scared every single time I see it. They have slowed it on long, but they're gonna go right on in.
No
and Navera
way.
get a Guardian, he had to tap away, and he just couldn't get it done. Scream is gone as well. The man who found 3 kills, holding this site with a Sheriff in just the previous. This time he receives a bullet to the head right away. And Tom, this is starting to look like FPX are going to Iceland. They got 2 players to the good. All the utility to work with. Hunter's Fury post plant, lockdown in play. And even another kill for Artis. How do you win this?
It needs to be a miracle. The remaining players of Liquid, 2 of those original members, looking to try and fight back. They want that initial spot. They want to be one of the first 2, but Artis is coming back to haunt them once again. For once, we can finally say that momentum is built, as FPX will be making their way through to Iceland, the first LAN for this organization, something, Mitch, we have been waiting for well over a year at this point. They made some ballsy roster changes, and it has paid off.
It absolutely has, you know, and you've got to give credit to these guys that through all of the ups and downs that they're experiencing nowadays, to do this without having Angel on the roster as well. Like, I'm sure that he's very much hands-on in Prec and having a lot of impact in saying this with Doombros in the background. I can only imagine how much it breaks his heart to be removed from this sort of a situation, yet still, what a huge accomplishment. FPX were fighting to be better than G2 for the longest time back in beta. They made that achievement, and then they fell off just coming up to first strike. Now we're looking at them and we're feeling this could be the return of the FPX era, maybe, as they are one of the first teams to make it all the way to Iceland. Unbelievable. Congratulations to them for doing it, even despite, like I said, not having your IGL there and still delivering like this. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and now we got to actually get into probably the toughest part, I think, of the day, which is going to be the player of the match for their side. Because I think in this second map, Artis is inarguable, but then you go back to the first one, and Xiao was putting up a damn good show. Batty G as well. The super stand-in, he comes into the squad, and they make it to their first ever LAN event. So, of course, you're going to have to go over to Val Esports _ EMEA to make that decision, because I'll be honest, this time, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough one for you guys at home. I think you got to get yourself on over to @ValEsports _ EMEA and get your vote in before it's too late. Winners announced during the Analyst desk, which will be coming up right after this break.